Hello, back with another replay review. This time we have Judge J, a gold player, and I didn't say his Civ because he's playing HRE on this one, but I did a cursory look at his AoE4 world page, and he plays everything right now. This is important because I saw Judge J post on the AoE4 Reddit where he mentioned how he felt like the skill ceiling has increased a lot, or players are just generally better. He mentioned how he used to be plat, but has fallen to gold. And he says he feels like his preferred playstyle, which is more eco-based, defensive-based. So he likes to go to TC, or he likes to go fast castle, which are both defensive, more booming. I know castle can seem defensive, but you are technically putting resources into something that's not military, so I consider it like a light boom. And he feels like the aggressive playstyles are winning. And my thought process is, one, the aggressive playstyle is the most common, and it's one of the most supported on the maps available in the pool. So you just see people getting better at it. I also think the skill level of players on average is better as people play the game more and more and more. But also I think defensive playstylings are the most difficult. They require how to play defense is very difficult, and it's a skill that takes a while to learn. And during that time you're learning, you're just kind of getting your teeth kicked in by people who are being really aggressive, and that can be mentally taxing. And also you have to be really a lot more on top of your macro a little bit than people who are just being purely aggressive, in my opinion. But I think something that, when I think about falling from plat to gold, like Judge J here says he's done, is that when you're playing as many different civs as he is, it's hard to get really, it's hard to maintain a high skill level. And that's because, or let me be more clear, a common piece of advice is that if you want to get a high rank at this game, you should play one or two civs and stick to those. Why? Well, that's because the way I view it, you are learning two different sides of skill sets. You're learning the game skill sets, which there are many. There is the macro side, there's the micro side, and within those, there's a lot of those things. How do you play in each age? What's the objectives on different maps? How do you respond to different situations? That's all its own skill set. On the other hand, there's how to play a civ and its situations and how it responds to different civs and its optimal openings and all those things. If you're doing both at the same time, i.e. you are both playing the game and also switching civs constantly, it's hard for you to get good at both those things. Whereas if you focus on one civ, you learn that civ and grow in that skill set, and you learn the game and grow in that skill set. Then when you get to a high enough skill set in the game, when you want to pick a different civ, you don't have to worry about the game side of it as much. You're just worrying about the civ side of it. So my suggestion is, if your goal is to get a high rank in this game, play one or two civs to like at least diamond level. You'd want to get to one to maybe higher, like Conqueror in my opinion, if that's your goal. If your goal is just to have fun, play a lot of different civs, then I suggest you don't care about your rank as much, just because it'll be hard to maintain a high rank. It just depends where enjoyment you get out of the game, in my opinion. So I'm going to demonstrate how, on Judge J's profile on AoE4 World, his most played civ is China, yet he flips between a lot of different civs. He plays random sometimes, and how that affects him playing against 123, who I bet mostly plays Jeanne d'Arc, and how that affects his ability to win. So first, our openings here. You're HRE, you're playing against Jeanne d'Arc. Just like HRE against France, your goal is to get to castle as soon as possible, as safely as possible, because you need to get out crossbows, or your own knights, or you just need to get out a strong spearman and men-at-arm mass. Preferably, you start out potentially going knights, just match knights, and then fall back into your infantry comp once you've established yourself, like iron rocks and things like that. Or, if you have to do a little bit more safe castle, then you might need to get spears, a tower, and then go up. But the point being is, you are going to feel pressured because your opponent's going to be on you pretty quickly. This is a pretty open map. It's pretty close. So what you have to do is pick a side that is your side you're getting careful with, and get a tower up on gold. And this is why knowing HRE as a civ is so vital, because you have to get up as soon as possible. That requires a good understanding of its macro. If you don't understand HRE's macro, you're not going to get up to castle as quickly as possible. And since this match is 9 minutes, I'm guessing there's a few errors. So let's begin. So already it's kind of concerning that the scout isn't moving. I know it's 9 seconds in, but when you're going to play this super defensive fast castle style against an aggressive civ, you have to get your scout out immediately just to get sheep. So for example, I would say your first move should be click on your scout, send him in the middle of the map. Small fit. Okay, dude, I'm already seeing a problem. You're going to have way too much food. That's because, as someone who's played HRE before, HRE was one of the first civs I really got into. HRE and Delhi. The usual opening is 3 immediately to gold, 3 to food. Why is that? Because you have a prelate. What's the prelate do? The prelate buffs the gathering speed of your villagers. So if you start out with all your villagers on food, you're going to have a shit ton of food. And you have no starting gold. So you have to get 200 gold while your villagers are just hauling food. So you start with 3 on gold. And in fact, a thing I sometimes see people do is they walk their prelate over with those first 3 and let the prelate buff up the first 3 villagers for a good start on the gold, and then come back, and then you just rally to food to get 8. And then you're rallying to wood and aging up. Ooh, got it. Missed that sheep. It's about right. Go all the way up. Look, you didn't miss any sheep out of that deal. But you want to make sure you're kind of checking the whole side here, because once your opponent ages up, your scouting is going to be limited to you just protecting your base. So you want to get all the way against the edge here. Okay. So you miss sheep here. 250 food. Like, that's a unit or two when it gets time to crunch time. So I'm going to check back here. I'm being more careful about this opening just because this game's so short. So look, you have 8 villagers queued up, which, you know, you have way more food than you need to get to castle, but you're still gathering gold and you're still sending the gold because you didn't know the opening HRE macro. You did like a normal civs macro, since you didn't know HRE, which is now setting you behind. Which, when it comes to, once again, an aggressive civ and you're being defensive, every second counts. One thing you could have done is you could have moved the prelate over and buff this to help pick up the speed, because the food's not your problem right now. People who are very good at micro will keep bouncing them back and forth because the buff stays for, I don't know how long the buff stays for, but a certain amount of time. And this is also why being late to feudal sucks, because you could get up you need to get up a tower in your gold immediately, and then you need to get on a barracks and get out a couple spearmen just to defend, basically. Okay, another thing about HRE, placement of the Aachen Chapel. Your Aachen needs to give as much space between your town center and it so you can fit farms, because this is your safe pocket right here, right? Everything here is this right here within the confines of the TC, but especially right here is the safe pocket, and you placing the Aachen next to the town center, and your house next to your town center and next to the Aachen takes, so that's farm space. This is farm space. That is really safe space. That's now gone. And so you should put the house here. But 2, you should have pushed this Aachen up and snug into the wood line here. You don't want to put it here because it's too far away. But put it up here nice and snug. So 1, you can gather wood without dropping a lumber camp. And 2, you just give yourself a little bit more space to fit farms. I don't think you'll still be able to get one here, but like get it as snug into that, like this little pocket right here. Even better. And now you're behind too. So you should put like 6 on the age up, because he's halfway to aging up. And you know he's going to get out a spear instantly. This is also once again showing, you know, macro issues. You don't need gold right now. Well, you do to age up, but like not this much gold. You only need 4 on gold right now. 3 maybe. Because it's about priorities. You need to get a tower up. You need to get a tower up. You need to get a barracks up. And walls. Really, a tower and walls is the most important thing. So, like a walls here. Or like a wall here. Just to keep this space safe. You'd want to send like 5 villagers to do 1 drop of stone, so you can upgrade that tower. And that buys you the time. The lack of sheep is really hurting you. See how much food you have because you stacked up so many of those. But here, this is another macro mistake. You need 8. You should rally. You should be rallying up to like 5 to 6 on wood, maybe 7. Because not only that, I'm seeing you don't have a lot of sheep, so you'd actually want to maybe do 8 on wood, just because you need to be adding farms while you're doing this. Unfortunately, but you're just gonna run out of food right now. The other thing you do is, you missed this because you didn't scout this corner, but you could have YOLO'd. If you notice that his scout isn't around, which is not, you could have YOLO'd like 5 villagers up to here for this food up here. They put a tower and just hope that he never checks the corner. If you're feeling desperate, but you also need to scout your opponent. You have no idea what's going on here. So he H'd up and you never checked his base, so you never see what he's making. You don't know what he's coming with, and you could have tracked that first knight in to make sure it doesn't surprise you. But at this point, so like you should have H'd up faster than him. And since you want to go fast castle, you already had the gold for castle, which tells me you had too many villagers on gold. Like you already need a tower here. And that means you keep 5 max on gold. If gold isn't actually your issue, it's wood and food. Because when you age up, you want to age up with a stable or 2 so you can start making knights immediately. Yep. And that's just late age ups. More sheep, great. It lets you get that up, that's really lucky. Now you have like 19 on wood, but you notice like he literally can't walk in yet. But that's why you need to start getting like a barracks would have been great. 2 or 3 spearmen, a tower. Those things, you just need to buy yourself the most minuscule amount of time here. But now you're being way too safe with walls. Wall to the edge of the TC range here, because now you have no space to drop anything. But once again, here's the issue. You see he has knights and stuff like that, and you have no production. Like, you can't age up if you have nothing to defend yourself with, because you can't go get relics, he's standing here. So, you need to age up first with a stable. You should be dropping 2 stables right now. And then aging up. Sorry, not stable, barracks. My bad, barracks. And here's the thing, you don't even need to quit here. But my point stands is that what's honestly holding you back is you're going to really struggle with defensive playstyle if you never stick with a civ and just learn how to do it. I had that same issue. I played HRE when I first started, but that was a different skill level back then. Then I played Delhi, and I got really good at Delhi. But the problem is, with Delhi, I got really good at being aggressive. I did not know how to defend. I did not know how to macro very well into castle, into Imperial. And what that taught me is I needed to focus on that. So I played China, and all I did was play China for months. I got my ass kicked. And I got better and better and better at that 2TC, macro, defensive, into castle, into winning an Imperial sort of style. It was grueling, but I was able to do that because I learned China as I learned that style and didn't deviate from that. So if you're serious about wanting to get good at a defensive style, if you're serious, and which is a good skill set to have, if you're serious about learning that, stick with a civ. Stop doing the random, stick with civ, learn it, learn how to play defensive with it. There's a lot of intricacies with HRE that help you survive. If that's not what you're interested in, if you're like, I like playing different civs, well then, do that. But you will be knocked down to a lower ranked tier because you'll never gain the skill set of a civ to play well enough. That just depends on what you want. Hope this was helpful to you. If you want to focus on HRE, I suggest you watch some high-level players play HRE, see their openings, watch a YouTube video on any of the pros who do HRE openings. If you're interested in private coaching or more replay reviews, reach out to me on Discord. My description's in the bottom. And good luck on your future games.